y'all? I said, what's up, y'all? Look at me when I'm talking to you, bro. Nah, I'm just messing with you, man. This is Knockout Boxing 86 TV, and we in here. So check this out, bro. Before I get going on today's video, y'all be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and share the video, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Put your seatbelt on when you get in my car. If you come through and view the video, be sure to hit that like button, bro. As well as I said, subscribe to the channel and share the video. And then comment down below as well, man. I want to chop it up with y'all and talk this boxing with y'all, but I can't do it unless you leave a comment. So comment down below so we can chop it up, bro. And if you're a YouTuber out here talking this boxing on YouTube, if you want to have me hop on a panel or collaborate, you can reach me at knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. And also, if you have a subscriber request and there's a certain video you want me to do or a topic you want me to cover on this channel, you can hit me up on that email as well. That's knockoutboxing, the number 8, the number 6, @yahoo.com, bro. But without further ado, let's get it popping, man. Let's get into today's video. Today, we're going to talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I haven't covered this topic in a while, and that's been on purpose. I like to see what the climate of the YTBC is, what people are saying, and how people are viewing things, and let some more news come out, and then give my take on it, bro. I've been on a couple of platforms. Shout out to Everything Boxing and Money Brown TV. We've talked about this topic in detail with a lot of different people, but I haven't made a video on it yet, and so I want to do that for y'all today, man. So right now, the whole thing is this whole 80-20 thing from Errol Spence. It's the whole 80-20 thing, and it's very simple to me, bro. Like, 80-20. Like, if you watch the video, you could clearly see that Errol Spence was not serious at all in that video, bro. He wasn't. It was on Instagram Live. He was with his lady, and he was responding to fans that were, you know, going through the live saying stuff about Terence Crawford. You feel what I'm saying? And if you take that serious, then I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think he was serious whatsoever. But if you do, that's on you. I can hear people now, oh, that means he ducking Terence Crawford. 80-20 is a price out. Hey, excuse me. 80-20 is a price out. He's pricing himself out. He's ducking. Look, man, I've said it once. I'll say it again, bro. Neither one of these fighters are scared of each other, bro. I do not think Terence Crawford is ducking Errol Spence. I do not think Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford. This is a business dispute, bro. This is a disagreement on value. I've made it clear who I think is right in this dispute, but we'll do it again for y'all. For some of you that haven't seen it yet, bro. I feel like Terence Bud Crawford is being unrealistic, bro. And I feel like his fans are driving that. I feel like Errol Spence is standing his ground and standing firm. And I feel like he's backed by data. It's just that simple for me. For Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence to fight, they have to come to an agreement on who's going to get more money, who's going to be the A side, who's going to be the B side, bro. This is not a 50-50 fight in terms of what they bring to the table from a revenue generation standpoint, right? It's a 50-50 fight in the ring. It's a hard fight to call who's going to win, but it's not a 50-50 fight when you talk about who's going to get the bulk share of the money, bro. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford has not fought on pay-per-view recently. He hasn't fought on pay-per-view not because he didn't want to, not because Bob Arum and Top Rank thought, oh, we'll make more money off of Terence Crawford just putting him on regular TV. No, bro, he has not fought on pay-per-view because he doesn't perform well, man. He just doesn't, bro. That ain't me hating. That ain't me talking shit about him. He just doesn't perform well on pay-per-view. Meanwhile, Errol Spence has done 3 consecutive pay-per-views in a row. And the difference between these two fighters is that Terence Crawford would need Errol Spence to be on pay-per-view. Terence Crawford needs to fight someone like Manny Pacquiao to be on pay-per-view. Terence Crawford could fight Sean Porter, and there's a question to be asked whether or not that fight would be on pay-per-view. There's a good chance that Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter would be on regular television, bro. Meanwhile, Errol Spence will fight on pay-per-view regardless of who he's fighting, bro. Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, pay-per-view. Errol Spence, Sean Porter, pay-per-view. Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, after Errol Spence been out of the ring for over a year, pay-per-view. If Errol Spence fight Yordenis Ugas, it's going to go on pay-per-view. If Errol Spence somehow was to fight Manny Pacquiao, it's going on pay-per-view. If Errol Spence fights Terence Crawford, it's going on pay-per-view. He's the common denominator in all of his pay-per-views, bro. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford is not. He's not a pay-per-view fighter. That in and of itself shows you who the A side is, bro. It just does. It's just simple business. And I hear people saying, well, Errol Spence acting all big and bad. He's not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was doing this. Floyd Mayweather is the biggest pay-per-view star that we've seen, bro. He sold more pay-per-views than anybody. So that's not a fair comparison. And while Errol Spence is not Floyd Mayweather big, he's bigger than Terence Crawford. And that's saying something, bro. That's saying something. And that still deserves for business to be done in a form in which Errol Spence is honored for being the bigger star, bro. I didn't say he's the biggest star. I didn't say he's the absolute mega star, right? And that's what some people who argue the other side of this, that's what they'll try to say. Like, he's not as big as Floyd Mayweather. He's not as big as Mike Tyson. He did this, he did that. Look, bro, the fact that he's bigger, he ain't that as big as them, but he's big enough to where 60-40 split or something along those lines, 65-35, whatever it is, he deserves more money than Terence Crawford because he brings more to the table, bro. He's more of a proven resource. His pay-per-view is going to sell 250 to 350,000, regardless if Terence Crawford is on it or not. Now, him versus Terence Crawford, since people want to see the fight, yes, bro, that's going to boost it up. That fight will sell more because it's two of the top in the division going at it. But that doesn't mean, okay, well, since you would sell more with me, now you got to give me 50%. Nah, bro, he's still bigger than you. What you guys have done in terms of your revenue generation performance, that shit matters up until this point, bro. It just does. It just simply does. And if you Terence Crawford, bro, it's time to put your smart hat on, put your business hat on, and realize what 40% would do, bro. Realize what that would do for you. Or 45% or 35%. It would be more money than you've ever made in your career fighting one person. It just would. And so if you Terence Crawford and you think you're going to win that fight, which from all accounts, he's confident. You don't get to your point in his career where he is without being confident. If you're going to win that fight, it's going to have a rematch clause, bro. It's going to have a rematch clause. And if you feel like you're going to win that fight, you can put it in the contract. Look, I'll take less this time. But when I win and we rematch, we got to flip this shit. I got to get more. And then in my opinion, the second fight will do better numbers and generate more money than the first fight. And so Terence Crawford could potentially end up making more than Errol Spence Jr. if he plays his cards right. The only thing that I see here is that if you're not confident that you're going to win, bro. If you're trying to cash out. If you feel like it's only going to be a one-time shot because Errol Spence is going to dog walk your ass. That's the only thing I can think of as to why this shit don't make sense to Terence Crawford and his team. I really don't understand what we're talking about here, bro. I don't. And so we got to have a realistic conversation as boxing fans. Whether you are Errol Spence fan, a Terence Crawford fan, a fan of both, or just a fan of boxing who want to see a great fight. This whole thing of we don't pocket watch. This whole movement of people out here saying, well, I just want to see the fight. I don't talk about the business of boxing. We talk about the business in every other sport. We talk about every other sport in its entirety, bro. But in boxing, we just want to talk about what goes on in the ring, and we don't want to talk about what goes on outside the ring. A segment of the population, a certain number of us, bro. And that's just wrong, bro. That's why the sport can't grow how it's supposed to. You got certain people that only want to talk about the business of boxing because it intrigues them that much. They can care less about what goes on in the fight. They want to just talk about boxing, the business of it. And then you got a certain segment of people that just want to talk about what goes on inside the ring. As a boxing community, we should want to hear from everybody, bro. There's more eyes. There's more people talking about it. And if you talk about this shit on this platform, you should cover everything. You don't see other sports shows and you don't see all the top people that cover football. They don't be like, yeah, we just going to talk about the game, right? We ain't going to talk about free agency. We ain't going to talk about contracts. We ain't going to talk about trades. We ain't going to talk about what these dudes do outside the court or outside the field. We just going to talk about the game. They don't move like that, bro. They don't move like that. So I'm tired of hearing this shit too about we don't talk about the business side. We just want to see the fight. I ain't pocket watching. Bro, look, It's not called pocket watching. It's called being an informed fan. It's called knowing what the hell you talking about and covering the sport as a whole in its entirety, bro. And if you ain't moving like that, in my opinion, you moving wrong. You should know about what's going on in all aspects of boxing, not just what goes on in the ring. And when it comes to this Errol Spence and this Terence Crawford thing, in my opinion, that's where the disconnect is, bro. You got people literally arguing that Terence Crawford should get a 50-50 split with Errol Spence, or some even arguing that he should get more based off of what he did at 135 and 140 pounds, bro. That don't make no sense. Accolades don't mean shit. They don't mean shit when it comes to making a big fight. They don't. What means something is how much money are you bringing to the table? How much money can we guarantee that we will make by putting you two in the ring? How much money have you done in your live gates, in your pay-per-view sales, in your marketing, in your merchandise? How much money are you bringing to the table? Nowhere in those contracts do they say or do they talk about, hey, he was undisputed at this weight class, or he was a unified champion at this weight class, or he beat this guy, or he beat that guy. It's all about money, bro. It's all about money. And if you don't understand that, man, I don't know what to tell you. And the fact of the matter is, whatever reason you want to give it, if you want to say Errol Spence is a bigger star, if you want to say Errol Spence has the better resume, if you want to say, oh, it's only because Errol Spence is fighting on PBC, if you want to say, oh, it's only because he's from Dallas, Texas, and there's so many more people live in Texas than Omaha. Whatever you want to say, bro, the reason is behind it. Whatever your reasoning is, the conclusion is still the same. Errol Spence is the bigger star. He's a bigger star than Terence Crawford. And if you don't like the word bigger star, he brings more money to the table than Terence Crawford. He's a bigger revenue generator than Terence Crawford. Whatever you want to say that makes you feel better, bro. You should be pushing for this fight to happen in the most educated way, in the most logical way. To push for this fight to happen between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford is to tell Terence Crawford to come off his high horse, bro. Come off your high horse, accept that you're the B-side, accept the lesser split, right? That ain't saying that you're a lesser fighter. That ain't saying that you can't beat him, but just accept that for the business side of it, he calls the shots. And then you accept that shit. You get him in the ring. You go for undisputed in your second weight class, be the first man ever in the 4-belt era to be undisputed in 2 different weight classes. And you go in there and you beat his ass if you Terence Crawford. The reward of taking less up front is too great of a thing for him to pass up, in my opinion. The same way I feel about Shawn Porter trying to fight Terence Crawford. Shawn Porter should take less to try to fight Terence Crawford because the reward of if he beats Terence Crawford is too good to pass up. It's the same thing with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. The reward for Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence is too good for him to pass up because he worried about a 50-50 split, especially when you know you're going to get a rematch, bro. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, 52-48, 51-49, man, whatever. Let's talk about it. I know y'all love talking about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. That's my take on it. Unbiased, objective, logical. Errol Spence is the A-side, bro. Get that man in 60-40. Get that man in 65-35. Get it cracking. And beat his ass, Terence Crawford, if you can beat his ass. And then make them flip that shit in the rematch. That's what I would do. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Comment down below. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And share the video. Put your seatbelt on when you hop in my car, bro. Be safe out here in these streets. Also, comment down below. You know, we love to chop it up on boxing. Can't do it unless you leave a comment. So be sure to do that. And if you're talking boxing on YouTube and you want to have me hop on a panel, knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email. That's knockoutboxing, the number 8, the number 6 at yahoo.com. I appreciate y'all watching this one. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, we out here.